My name is Carol Elder, and my husband and I are the owners of Crazy Water. So the name Crazy Water actually dates back to like 1881, and Mineral Wells was kind of a already established spa resort town. And at this time, a lady came here who was a little bit demented, and so after she would sit by the well every day, and after drinking a glass of water every day, she became a little less crazy. And so it became then known as the Crazy Woman's Well, and then the woman dropped and became the Crazy Well, and then it became Crazy Water.
Tell me about that well and where it is in relation to where we are now.
The Crazy Well was, I think, the third well dug in Mineral Wells, and it's where the Crazy Water Hotel is now.
Okay, so you guys, with the business and the water and everything, tell me about the water and what it is about it that makes it so special here in Mineral Wells.
So let me go back a little bit and give you a little bit of the history of why people started coming here.
Okay.
And so there was a family of settlers, and they were all looking for a drier climate. They're in poor health. They were living kind of in the East Texas border area, and they were pushing west. And because of Indian raids and stuff further west on the other side of the Brazos River, they decided to hold back on this east side of the Brazos River. Wagon wheel broke, oxen were struck by lightning. They kind of thought it was kind of the will of God to stay where they were. And so they made where the downtown area is now their homestead. And so it was their kids' job to haul water from the river. That lasted a couple years, and then until one day a well driller came by, traded them a set of oxen to drill a well. The water had a really funny taste and odor, and so they didn't have water labs to send things off to make sure that things were safe. And so they fed it to their livestock, and when their livestock didn't get sick or die, they started drinking it. And so by this time, Mrs. Lynch was bedridden with rheumatism. Mr. Lynch had really bad stomach ailments. I've got a bug in my hair. Sorry.
That sentence over.
Yeah.
You don't like that?
You don't like the swat flies?
Ninja move.
So by the time they got the water, Mrs. Lynch was bedridden with rheumatism. Mr. Lynch had some stomach ailments. The kids were all kind of puny. And so within just a few months of drinking the water, their health started to improve. Mrs. Lynch was up and working the farm again. Mr. Lynch's stomach problems went away. And so back then there weren't like doctors and clinics and prescription drugs. And so when stories about healing properties around an area happened, people would flood to those areas. And that's kind of how spa resort towns happened all across the United States. And so at this point in time, there were probably 100 different mineral water cities in America, like either taking baths or coming to drink the waters. And so within a year after drilling that first well, there's over 1,000 people coming and camping at Mr. Lynch's homestead at any given time. And so he was selling the water for a nickel a cupful, which is the modern equivalent of like $9 a glass.
Okay, do that sentence again when that fly goes.
When the fly gets off my nose.
Yeah.
We need a fan blowing at you because
yes.
come around.
Yeah.
I'll just.
I didn't know I smelled that bad.
Correlation to what that would be now would be really cool.
So there were over 1,000 people that were coming and camping at his homestead, and they were selling the mineral water for a nickel a cupful. And so, which is the modern equivalent of over $9 a glass. So because Mr. Lynch was able to get $9 a cup for his mineral water, and he was running out every day, people were coming here and they're camping, and so there was no general stores or no restaurants. He was running out of water every day, and so everyone just saw the economic opportunity here, and it became a boom town literally overnight. And so when he first came here, it was it's on record at different times, either 77, 76, and the first well was dug in 77. By 1881, where the crazy lady came, it was already an established spa resort town. People were still living in tents, but people were starting to get like general stores, and the crazy well was like the third well that was dug by Uncle Because you're really tight on that. You can see the bug flying around. Okay, so the Crazy Well was the third well that was dug. What was the question? I totally forgot at this point.
You're bringing us up to now. You're getting there.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So the Crazy Well was the third well that was dug in 1881, and people were coming here, and it just flourished. And by the time that our company's founder came, Mr. Dismuke, in 1904, you had lots of hotels and lots of bathhouses, and so companies did different things. And so they would either make products out of the water, and that's kind of some of the products behind me. Products out of the water, they would bottle the water. This that you're in now is the famous drinking pavilion, and it was built because people would come here, and they'd always come here for a period of time, and so they'd buy like a water card, and so they would come in, they'd belly up to the bar, and every day they'd come in and they would drink some water. Here was a gaming pavilion where they would sit here and they played checkers and chess, and basically wait for the water to heal them or help them. And so in its height, there were probably around 100 wells dug in this area. We have only the last remaining ones that are kind of open for the public. And then, and like I said, they're doing mineral baths, they're making products out of the water. So people would really love what the water did for them when they came to mineral wells, and so they'd want it shipped to them wherever they lived. And so they started making different products out of the water. So they would take the water and they would dehydrate it down, either to a concentrated water, or they'd dehydrate it down all the way to a powder. And so a 1 pound box of crystals would then reconstitute into like 15 gallons of water. And so there was rail cars that went all over the United States that were labeled Crazy Water, and it was a huge part of pulp culture back then. The Crazy Water Company advertised Crazy Water crystals and the concentrated Crazy Water, and they sponsored like barn dances and different radio shows. And so there's even a Crazy Water exhibit that you can see at the Country Music Hall of Fame in Nashville.
Really? So this brand has been everywhere for a very long time.
Yeah, so it was, Crazy Water was a national brand up until like the 1930s, 1940s, when just kind of a culmination of events happened in mineral wells, a bad culmination. It was after, by the end of 1940s, you had the end of World War II. You had we became more industrialized nation, and so people got less vacation. And so now people used to come here and stay a season, which was, a month, 6 weeks, 2 months. Now you're lucky if you get 2 weeks vacation a year. Prescription drugs became readily available, and so we moved away from being a more holistic society into more of I'm gonna say pill popping society. If you have a headache, you take 2 Advil, whatever, and your headache magically goes away. And people got away from thinking, what caused my headache? Am I stressed? Am I dehydrated? Too much heat? What's caused the headache? And so, and then the third one was the FDA came around, and so the FDA then would no longer allow you to advertise any medicinal benefits of the water. And so that's kind of what shut down the spa mineral water cities across the United States.
So there were, at least, I guess, unproven scientifically, but anecdotal instances of the water helping people.
Yeah, so what a mineral water is it's just dissolved minerals in a water. And what makes the water in mineral wells so unique is that many, many years ago, we were like ancient oceans. And so where mineral wells is, we're kind of like in the hill country. They call this the Palo Pinto Mountains. And so the water gets stuck into the pockets in the valleys. And then what also is very unique is that it's very flat east and west of mineral wells. And so we have, to create the Palo Pinto Mountains, we have just a minor fault line. And so with that fault line, it gives fissures in the rock. And so when the rain comes down, it's able to go through the fissures of the rock, and the water is able to collect through the different pockets to get this very unique mineral water. That's why you can't get it really in any other area other than right here in the Valley of Mineral Wells.
That's interesting. So have there been tests recently that kind of tell what it is about the water, that what minerals are in it, how that helps the body, what that does for the body, or how it reacts with the body?
Yeah, so we send the water off every year to have a full analysis done on it. And so It shows to have calcium, magnesium, potassium. It has bicarbonate soda in there. It has a natural alkalinity to it, which is kind of important in the world of waters, because everyone knows that having an alkaline water is better for you. So then they try to manipulate it or whatever, but we won't go there. But so a mineral water is like naturally alkaline. It has just the properties in there that just trace minerals and electrolytes, kind of like what you look for like in a sports drink. My husband Scott and I own the Crazy Water, and he was just finishing up law school. We were living in Oregon. Mineral Wells is my hometown. We decided to move back to Texas. We started having a family, wanted to get back closer to family. We lived in Houston for about 6 months. We realized that that was not for us. And so we started looking for a place to start a business. And so I was in landscaping and floral design. And so we were looking at different buildings and mineral wells. This happened to not only be a great site, but it had the gardens, and we could buy the business and the house, and we were basically going to be promoting the historic aspect of it, and then doing it as an event site. At that point, no one drank the mineral waters. It was a operating company, and it was doing about $30 a day, and that was in store and delivery. And so we came in, we bought it, and we started kind of diversifying as much as we possibly could. We had ice creams, and we're just really kind of catering to the tourism market, and doing primarily reverse osmosis water. Like, we take the water and we put through reverse osmosis and we take out all the minerals. Kind of what we found just after just being open and being here regular hours and longer hours is that people were starting to, they would have a different ailment, or they're like, okay, grandma used to drink this for this, I'm gonna try it. And so we're starting to waken up as a society to becoming a little bit more holistic again, just giving our body just basic minerals and vitamins that it needs. And so people started coming again. And then, like I said, I was a floral background. My husband's an attorney. We have no nutrition background whatsoever. And so people would come in, they're like, oh, it helped me for this, or it helped me for that. And we're like, huh, okay, it's probably some kind of placebo or whatever, but whatever, we're selling some water. And so, but then before long, you had people coming in from Fort Worth, and then from New Mexico or Austin, and people coming in from all different parts of the world or the country, and they were saying the same thing. You're like, well, maybe we should look into this. Maybe there's something to it. And so we started just looking up, the body's use of bicarbonate soda, because that's one of the main elements in the water. Body's use of bicarbonate soda. Body's use of magnesium, body's use of calcium. And then what we started to find is when your body is deficient in a mineral or such, a chain effect starts happening. And so it's really not a curative. It's just like, when your body doesn't have what it needs, other things start failing. And so then if you give your body like just basic vitamins and minerals that it needs, it helps. So
it's better than taking a pill.
It is better than taking a pill. And so, people, it kind of just spread through grassroots. More people started coming. We started getting some requests from different grocery stores to carry it. Our first grocery store outside of Mineral Wells was like 7 Whole Foods in the Fort Worth, Dallas area, and we would deliver to them every week. We were hand bottle it, cap it, put a little label on it, put it in a box, tape it, load it in the back of a truck, and take it over there. So it was very labor intensive. We're still doing everything by hand here, and then it took another leap of growth, and so we started going into different Whole Foods all over the state, and then that was kind of just our first step. And then now from there, which was about 2003 till 2020, we're in almost every retail chain across Texas, and we distribute throughout Texas, and then kind of have some fingers into Texas, Oklahoma, Louisiana, New Mexico, and some into Colorado. With Crazy Water, we basically operate kind of almost 3 different businesses. We have the pavilion here, which is a historic pavilion that people come in, they bring their own empty gallon jugs. We refill anything a gallon or larger. They have their own mixes sometimes. They'll have, give me a half a 3, half a 2, whatever, and they do bulk vending here. We have a lot of people that want to come that may be buying it at a grocery store in Austin or San Antonio that want to visit the well. So we have a lot of people that make pilgrimages here to the site. And so we kind of keep this site as historic and as original as possible. And then we have the Crazy Water distribution. And so that takes water into like all the grocery stores throughout the state of Texas. And then we also have a Crazy Water bathhouse, and so which is kind of right behind me. And so you can come in, you do mineral baths there as well. So we pretty much try to specialize in anything that you can do with the water. And so we here at the pavilion, we sprout nuts with the water, we make body products out of the water, and we make sodas out of the water. And where we get the water is we have different wells. And so how we get I'll let you do a sampling just a bit. And we have Crazy Water 1 through 4. And so the numbering system dates back to when visitors would come to mineral wells. They would, if they had some kind of ailment, they'd go and visit their doctor. And whatever they had wrong with them, they'd say drink 2 glasses of 3 and a glass number 4 a day. And so the number system kind of helped denote the amount of mineral in the water. So the higher the number, the higher the mineral content. Each water comes from a different layer of the earth. And so it doesn't even make sense that, the lower you go, the more minerals. It goes all over the board. So the number 1 is we take out all the minerals and we add some to it, because some people don't like the taste of minerals. But then it's healthier than just a regular purified water because it kind of raises that pH back up and then adds a little trace mineral to it. And when we first started selling the waters again, or bringing the waters to market, for every 100 gallons that we sold, 95 were probably a purified water and 5 the mineral waters combined. So very few people drink the mineral water, and now it's a complete opposite. We sell very little of the purified water and mostly the mineral waters. So the number 1 water is from the number 3 well, and we take and extract the minerals out of it. The number 2 is from its own well, and that well used to be owned and operated by Dr. Norwood. He used it for his clinic and treatments for his patients. And it is it's what we classify as our low mineral content water, but it has a TDS around 600 to 700, which is kind of the same strength as most of the mineral waters from Europe have. A number 3 is our medium one. It's our bestseller. It has just a really well-balanced mineral content to it. You can taste it, but it's not a real heavy mineral water. And it has a TDS average of like 900 to 1200 throughout the year. And then the number 4 is the strongest, and that's really the strength that made mineral wells famous. And that well depth is like 130 feet. And so you have 250, 350, and 130. So it kind of goes like that. It really depends on just the pocket that you're hitting.